Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're hopping into the Hawkins forest with a little bit of a showcase for the new V2 ViviBecca and Shirasherry. So this is the team you see on the screen. They're the supports. We have Bardo, we have Perisparrow, who is very, very important. Sabo, you could probably replace Sabo with like a stat booster. I don't think he's really essential. And if you are looking for other sub potentials for this particular team, you can replace Sugar with someone like Miho Corona, Neko Inu, Sabo Koala. I imagine all those types of characters will work. And if you are looking for someone to replace Shanks' crew, you could either use someone like Shanks and Ben Beckman, the dual unit there. And I imagine Robin you could try and replace, but she's really, really handy as she can use the bar to support. But that's about enough for that team. Let's hop in. Here we are starting over here at the Hold'em stage. Now on this stage, Hold'em gives 5 turns of threshold. Throughout the run, you just want to basically switch with your Shirasherry, get the overheal mechanic, utilize the healing that ViviBecca as captains can provide, and use their switch ability if you need to, just to basically tank a bunch of shots from Okiku, or 2 stages before this, as well as all the shots that Hold'em is going to throw at you while we're stalling out that threshold. But the healing potential of this particular team is absolutely insane. Once we do get to this stage, we do want to switch with our Shirasherry and then use the special to give ourselves a full board of recovery orbs. And then with the support of that Perisparrow from Kazuna, the free-to-play one, we can actually lock all those orbs and basically start abusing this mechanic that this forest provides, which is the orb seal lock, whatever you want to call it, mechanic, where you have to hit certain perfects, goods, greats, whatever the condition may be. So Shirasherry can not only provide those rainbow orbs, but the healing that you can get with Shirasherry as well as ViviBecca as captain is absolutely mind-boggling. Also utilizing the liberal hind to get cooldowns for our Psy units, as we do have 3 on this particular team, as well as getting the extra 1,000 healing is absolutely nutty. So ViviBecca have actually surprised me about how much damage output they can actually provide. I'm not a huge fan of color affinity captains, but they can definitely help out quite a bit. Now on this particular stage, we do want to make sure that we are switching with our right units. Getting the attack boost from Shanks, and then doing as much damage as we possibly can to Kimon and Conjurer without them getting below 50% HP. Now this is where the switchability of ViviBecca can really shine. The chain multiplier growth, like buff, that multi buff, is actually quite underrated in my opinion. It can just give you the damage that you do need to beat certain stages, and this particular stage is a perfect example. As you can see, we are still hitting perfects as we do have the 4 perfect lock, but as you can see on Kinemon, we just have enough damage to actually take him out here, and that's thanks to the actual chain multiplier buff that Vivi and Rebecca can provide. Now if you guys are struggling on that particular stage and you are running this team, you can actually just use Sugar's special there and you can easily blitz it, but I just really wanted to show that chain multiplier buff and its power without even using another special. Moving into Kyo Shiro stage, we are going to stall out a little bit here, but with ViviBecca and Shirasherry with their switch abilities giving 1,500 healing every single turn, Shirasherry providing overheal, and then the 6,000 healing we get at the end of every single turn, makes it very easy to make our way through this particular forest without utilizing the recovery orb cheese with this particular forest, where we can lock the recovery orbs, as we just have so much natural healing, we don't even need it, and we can just rely on rainbow orbs, which are arguably better. So once Kiyoshiro puts up the rainbow shield, we are going to use our Robin special to remove the defensive effects. We can switch with Shanks' crew to get an attack buff, and then we can use the Shanks' crew special to get a 3.5 times chain lock. Now on this particular team, we do have 3 Psy units, provided we switched correctly. So with that and that color affinity bonus, as you can see, we can do so much damage just with the captain abilities of ViviBecca. They're only sitting at a 3.25 times captain multiplier, but they also add the 1.3 times color affinity built into their captain ability, which can actually provide a lot of damage. The downside is it does go both ways, unfortunately. Moving on to the Jack stage now, we can remove one of the turns of despair by utilizing the switch ability of Shirasherry. If you guys don't have Shanks' crew, you can actually use Ben Beckman and Shanks and utilize their switch abilities to remove Water Spare in this particular stage. I went with Shanks' crew. He's my favorite unit in the game, so every time I can bring Shanks' crew, I'm always going to. But if you are struggling for a sub replacement for Shanks' crew, Shanks and Ben Beckman do suffice, as we do hold on to all of these recovery orbs basically the entire run. Another replacement for the team, you can replace Sugar if you want to. I really just wanted to include Sugar in this particular run, just to show off her chain multiplier buff with the bears, as well as the multiplier buff that ViviBecca can give, as well as ignoring the burn at the end. But you could replace Sugar with someone like Sabo Koala and then not use the Lucy support. Or you could even use someone like Neko and Inu, or even someone like Mihawk Corona should work well too. Moving on to the next stage against Zoro and Law and Mask. As you saw there, we actually just blitzed our way through Jack. We just used one of the ViviBecca specials and we could easily get through with the color affinity. But on this particular stage, we're going to use the other special of Vivi and Rebecca, and we can actually just blow through this particular stage. If you really need to and you are running this particular team, you can stall here on Zoro. Zoro can't do as much damage as our healing. I think he does like 8,500 and we can heal for like 10,500. So if you need to like get HP back on this particular stage or for whatever reason, you can actually hang around here for a little bit and then just stall out the special limit that he gives you. But for me, I actually stalled here on Jack. Now, arguably, stalling here is actually harder, but it makes the run a lot quicker. And as I was sort of doing team building and stuff like that, as you sort of do the runs, you sort of get to know the content a little bit better. And this way was the more successful way of doing it without needing to overstall and overheal. But this team is so damn tanky that if you need to, you can actually just sit on that Zoro stage for however long you want and basically just get all your HP back up to the double HP pool. But once you do go into this stage against Jack, he's going to blow away your friend captain, which is going to lose a lot of your HP. So just be mindful of that if you are stalling on that Zoro stage. Against Jack, unfortunately, he gives 3 turns of damage reduction, threshold, and attack down. And then every 2 turns, he blows away your friend captain. And then once he's done all that, he turns into a dex unit and does double attack. He hits for about 16,000 every single turn, which can be a little bit of an issue for this particular team as its healing isn't that good. 16,000 is a lot of damage every single turn. But we do have the switchability of Shirasherry to give us overheal for whenever we lose our friend captain, so we can hang on to the HP. Plus, we can actually use the Shirasherry special whenever we need to on this particular stage. I'd highly recommend using it once you get all your captains back and he starts blowing them away. Usually that's just after when the attack down is gone. Once we get our captain back now, he's going to stop doing that and he's just going to do his double strikes. Utilizing the switchability of Shirasherry to get extra healing and overheal, as well as ViviBecca's healing with Shirasherry special. You can do a lot with this particular team, and this Jack stage can be a little bit annoying, but once we get our Shanks Crew special, we can basically pop that. And once we get the 3 turns of the 3.5 times chain lock, we can start doing a lot more damage to Jack. We basically just want to hang around here to stall back for our ViviBecca specials. And once we get that, we can move on to the next stage against Kaido. And once we get to that stage against Kaido, we start moving very, very fast, and we can finish this forest off very, very quickly. The build up to the stage that I started on, the build up to that like starting point is actually like longer than the rest of the forest itself. That's the big downside to this particular team, but it is very, very safe. It does it very, very comfortably, and doesn't have too many issues, as there are multiple ways of running the forest with this particular team, and with the sub potentials with stuff like Shanks and Beckman, Mihawk Corona, Sabo Koala, Neko, and Inu. This team has a lot of sub potential, provided you still have Shirasherry and Robin on the team. Robin is really, really good because we have the support of Bardo to remove the paralysis on the Kanjuro and Kinemon stage, and she can also remove defensive effects as well as remove Despair, which we actually get inflicted on the last stage as well, and that way we don't have to worry about getting our Shirasherry special back. But Shirasherry can remove that Despair, so don't stress if you are missing Robin. You could probably use someone like Don Krieg and Jin, I imagine should work, provided Don Krieg and Jin should work, provided you don't get to the damage reduction stage of Kyoshiro. I do imagine that will work. You just need to remember to use your ViviBecca specials. Actually, it's not going to matter. They both give 2 times all boosts. But once we get Jack down to a low HP, utilizing the 3.5 times chain lock from Shanks Crew, we are using the Live Behind special every single turn to make sure that we are getting some cooldowns as well, which is very, very nice. But once we get him down to a very, very low threshold, and once we get our friend ViviBecca down to around 4 turns, is when we do want to finish off Jack. Now, before you do finish off Jack, you do want to make sure that your captains or your crew are out of their quick variants. If you go into the Kaido stage as a quick variant, Kaido's actually going to roll your specials back by, I think it's 2 or maybe 3 turns. I think it might be 2 turns. But you just really don't want that to happen, as we do want to be utilized one of the specials of Vivi and Rebecca. Now, when you move into the final stage against Hawkins, though, Hawkins will turn into the opposite color to what your captain is. So when you use the ViviBecca special, as you can see that I just did, you do want to make sure that you stay in the Dex variant. It's very important, as when we move into the Hawkins stage then, Hawkins will actually turn into a strength unit. Because he's a strength unit with the switch abilities of ViviBecca turning it into quick units, as well as Shirasherry, Shanks Crew, and Sugar being quick units, we can actually just blitz our way through that final stage utilizing Sugar's bear mechanic. After we kill Kaido though, he does res, which is a little bit frustrating for most teams, plus he does reduce recovery, so stalling on this stage is pretty hard, as well as that massive 25k burn that he can provide. So you do want to be careful hitting your perfects, but this team does have a lot of HP, so we actually can tank a shot from Kaido if we need to. But as you can see, just with all of our quick units, we can easily take him out utilizing the switchability of Shanks Crew. Remember, you need to make sure that you stay as the Dex variant when you come into this particular stage against Hawkins. He's going to turn into a strength unit. We can then switch back into all of our quick variations. We can use the ViviBecca special for a 2x orb and attack boost. And then we can actually use Sugar to turn everyone into bears. With the chain multiplier buff and the bear mechanic, we can actually get a massive chain multiplier, as well as having a 2x attack and a 2x orb with a lot of color affinity. Robin can also remove the defense up as well as the gloom, so that works very, very well. But there you guys go. That was the Hawkins Forest with the new waifus. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lates!